Hey, folks, I'm excited about today's guest. She's none other than the incredible, legendary author, speaker, television personality extraordinaire, and the only beauty able to capture the heart of the Motor City madman, Ted Nugent. But it's none other than Shemane Nugent. How you doing, Shemane?
I'm great, Brant. Thank you so much for having me.
Always, always. Now, Shemane, last time I talked to you, I mean, you always got something new. You've been touring with Ted. You continue to do your fitness events. I love your live streams, and you've got something new with a podcast as well. But we want to catch up with all of that. But first off, now, where in the world are you in the country right now?
I'm in Michigan right now,
All
but
right.
I'm
Okay.
I'm back and forth between Michigan and Texas and a little bit in Naples, but I haven't. I was in Naples just a few days before the hurricane hit, and man, it's devastating there. I have a
Wow.
little she shed there,
Oh,
and a lot of my friends have been reporting back to me about what's going on, and it's just been. I don't think people were really truly prepared for
really?
that hurricane. It was incredible.
You know, Shemaine, the media doesn't really cover a lot of things that they should, and that's why we do what we do, right? But why
Yes.
don't you tell us what's really going on with the hurricane situation, the victims, and all that?
Well, I have been reporting to my Facebook followers that I have friends who are there, who are boots on the ground, and they're the people that are going up to homes and
Mm.
I want to say too, one of the greatest, if there is a silver lining for this hurricane and for any natural disaster, is that people don't stop to say, hey, are you a Democrat or Republican? They just
Right.
offer, hey, do you need help?
Mm.
And a lot of my friends there are helping. They're boots on the ground. They're ripping out drywall. They're helping people. And what they have said is that people need gift cards. So on my Facebook, I had been posting an address that you could send gift cards to
Right.
for
Right. Right.
5, 10, 20, 100 bucks, whatever you can afford. And that's what people need. Because if you look around your home right now, wherever you're at,
Mhm.
imagine all of that gone. You need,
Wow.
the basics. So it's been really devastating. But I know that Naples is and Southwest Florida is going to come back, and we're going to come back strong.
Wow, Shemaine. You know, again, you don't see a lot of coverage. I mean, the last time there was a hurricane, you didn't see hardly any coverage, and the devastation. I mean, I heard one estimation was 100 miles worth of devastation. People were staying in tents during Christmas. People didn't even know that in the mainstream media. You know, I think the priorities are a little different these days. But
Well,
you were right.
everybody's focused on the election.
Right.
The hurricane came and went, and they just, on one hand, people do need to move on with their lives, and people who aren't
Right.
directly affected by the hurricane, that's what we need to do. God does not want to give us a spirit of fear. God did not
Right.
give us a spirit of fear, but we do need to help those who are in need of help. And it's going to be a long time, Brant, months or even years before that area recovers.
Oh. Well, our prayers are with them, and I'm definitely going to find out for more about that. I'd like to contribute too. So on Shemaine Nugent's Facebook page, there's going to be information where people can access perhaps a giving portal or some kind of link or something, or
Yep.
know where to go to help those people. You know, we're all in this together, folks, and
Yes.
the powers that be, not the ultimate power, but the powers that be are more concerned with elections and political dollars and keeping you divided, folks. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, but
That's that. But you know what? We don't do that, do we? And Shemaine, you know, as time goes on, I'm seeing everyone in my circle, no matter how they vote, coming to a realization that, man, we've kind of been played in this whole thing, and we don't hate each other. We don't have to hate each other, and we're either part of the problem or part of the solution. But you know, love is the solution, and I'm proud of you for helping the people, the boots on the ground out there, and bringing attention to this. So, folks, you're watching on Facebook Live, but this is also being recorded for broadcast. So, at the bottom of your screen, when this comes out in broadcast, you'll see a way to connect and a way to help these people. They are your brothers and your sisters, because after all, even the heathen in the science community will tell you we all came from one set of parents, folks. We're in this together. And it's time that we come together and with messages of unity and hope and love. You're all about that, Shemane. Tell us the new thing that's happening with your show.
Well, I have a podcast that's available, an audio only podcast. It's available on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, but also a new platform called, it's not new, it's been around for a while, but new to me, fairly new. It's called Podbean,
Podbean.
Podbean. And I have 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I interview everybody from pastors to rock and roll musicians to best-selling authors. And it's information that I want to know more about. And I am excited to be able to bridge that gap and to bring this information to people. And I'm also going to be having a new show on Real America's Voice coming soon.
So cool. Now educate me. Real America's Voice. Is this also an audio or is this a video?
That's going to be, Brant, when we first started all of this, a podcast was audio only. Now a podcast can be video or audio. So that particular podcast on Real America's Voice is going to be audio and video.
Cool. So cool. Well, Brigitte, Gabrielle and I do a new show, News You Can Act On, and she's a fan. But it's amazing. We were talking the other day, so many changes in the media world. Now a podcast is an audio. It's a video with a microphone in the shot. I mean, people don't realize podcasts been around since the 80s, folks. Did you know that? Yeah. I mean, who was that? He was a VJ. He was one of the DJs, video DJs on MTV. He invented that. Had the big blonde hair and all that. And anyway, all that to say, now, what does Uncle Ted think about all these podcasts and shows and such? Is he having as much fun as it looks like he's having?
He loves it. He loves being able to communicate with people. And I just left him. I'm going to be on his show on Real America's Voice tonight that airs at 10 p.m. Eastern, realamericasvoice.com. And we did 2 segments together. And he goes, "Can you stick around for the last one?" I said, "No, I've got a podcast with Brant, so I can't do it."
Hey, he's no dummy. I mean, come on now, Shemane. You're not only dynamic and very, very brilliant, but you're also, not dead gorgeous. It doesn't hurt in this culture. He's not a dummy. He knows, more people will be excited to watch too. It is what it is. But you know what? You use your gifts. You use your look, you use everything you have to benefit others and to lift others up. And gosh, I think we've done, at least this is the 3rd interview I think we've done together.
We've done quite a few. And you know what, Brant, I want to say too, I don't feel that I don't have as much of a voice as my husband Ted or you do or Brigitte does or so many other people, but I feel like God has been nudging me to share what I know with other people and to help encourage others, especially women, to speak out, because he's raising, as your video so bravely but perfectly indicates, the warrior woman spirit. I just love that, because women have a special place in God's heart. And he raised up people like Deborah to be warriors and like Esther. And we've got to walk in those footsteps. We've got to be bold and courageous, and we need to speak out. And I think now is the time.
Like never before. You've made appearances on GLC, God's Learning Channel, one of the many networks out there, a wonderful Judeo-Christian network, and breaking new ground there. But Shemane, let me lovingly disagree with you. You are a voice. You are a celebrity. You've been in the public eye for many years, and your husband may be Ted Nugent, but let me tell you something. Some people that they either have it or they don't when it comes to television and presenting and holding an audience, and you've got it. And you're also a good writer too. I mean, really, I'll never flatter you or lie to you, but I was very, very excited to meet you. And you didn't know me that well when we first interviewed. We did an interview for Channel 10, CBS, and you saw me smiling, and of course, what you didn't know at the time was that I'm all about Jesus. And I was just
I did
loving.
not know that.
You didn't know
And you,
that.
I remember you reached out to me and I'm like, you mean you want Ted on the interview? Like I have a difficult time taking compliments because I believe it's from God. Anything that I have obviously is because of God. If I have this
Awesome.
voice, it's because of God. And all I want to do is this is, how in fashion you might be aware of this. They talk about, what's the look you're going
Uh,
for? What is that look that you're going for? The look that I'm going for, Brant, is to hear the words, well done, good and faithful servant.
that's
So
the best look.
use me wherever I can be of service. I want to be of service. And I want to encourage people too that are watching this show. Brant, you do such an amazing job. You have such a calming
Thank you.
voice
Thank you.
and a masterful skill set, obviously, on
Wow.
the
Tell me.
piano and in music. But there are a lot of people who might be going through a season where they don't feel like they have any gifts or talents to offer. And I want to encourage people to think about what comes easy to you. Somebody might think, well, I like to sew. Well,
Right.
good. Maybe that could be of service to other people. If you can sing, that could be of service to other people, or paint, or draw, or write, or play the guitar, whatever it is, that can be of service. I believe our mission in life is to find our gifts and talents and
Right.
then to give them away.
There you, and you do that, and I do that. I was so delighted with our first interview. I was just gushing. You thought I was laughing a little bit. I was just delighted that this woman, with the platform she has, with the gifting she has, is giving it to Jesus. I was so delighted. And then you found out where I was coming from. Hey, let's do it again. Let's get you show. And I appreciate your comments and your encouragement to me as well. People, you do have a purpose. You weren't born just to pay bills and die. God knew you. David said to God, my days were written in your book before I was born. Your life's already been written. And if you're one of those few who stop the world and you realign your life with what God's will is. So many people ask me, hey, what's God's will for my life? What's God's will for my life? I said, I can tell you what God's will for your life is. And they think, oh, no, 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 no. It's very simple, very simple. God's will is for no man to perish, but for every man to come to the knowledge of the truth, man and woman. That's his will.
Yep.
And so what does he put in your hands? And like you said, is it sewing? Is it writing? Is it encouraging? Is it singing? Is it speaking? Is it playing? Shemane, when I go to speak to groups, I have them do an exercise that helps them find their design. You want to hear what it is real quick?
Yes, I do.
Okay, folks, you're going to draw 3 circles that intersect each other. 3 circles that intersect each other. Circle number 1 are your dreams. What did you dream about being when you were a child, right? Some dreams in there. Well, circle number 2 that intersects that, what are some successes you've had? What are some accolades, awards, or compliments, or fulfillment, So it's your dreams and your fulfillments, right? And then of course there's your talents. So you have your dreams, you have your wins, and you have your talents. Well, they all will meet in that little space in the middle of all those 3 circles intersecting. That's your design. And when you find out what your design is, then you ask yourself, okay, what design has God given me to help him achieve his will? And that is for no man or woman to perish, but for every man or woman to come to the knowledge of the truth. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then any opportunity that comes along your way that is not in line with your design, it's not in line with who you want to be, you just don't take it.
Yeah.
And I got a book coming out, a Red Pill Prophet, on Amazon on Halloween Day. And Jesus is the red pill prophet, by the way. But Shemane, I learned how to live without fear or anxiety for many years now. And when you walk in your design as you are, you know what? There's that saying, 1 hour of favor is better than 1,000 hours of labor. And I get at least 1 hour a day,
Good
so
for
I'm
you.
getting like 1,000 hours. And I believe that you are too. So, but anyway, all that to say is when I see people like you who have the platform you have, who have the talents you have, the wisdom, the life experience you have, even the appearance you have, and you're choosing to use that for the king, that is so thrilling and inspiring because your joy is not limited. You're not the flavor of the week one week and not the next. You're never going to stop. You're never going to decrease. You're always going to increase and always keep moving forward. And like Les Brown says, igniting the greatness in people. Shemane, you ignite the greatness in people. You
Aw,
also help people with their health too.
yeah.
Tell us what you're doing with your health program right now and how people can get involved with that.
Well, they can follow my website. It's ShemaneNugent.rocks, ROCKS. And I have lots of new programs coming, and I have a book coming out soon about what happened to me and why I am so invested in
Wow.
my health is because I got sick and almost died from toxic mold between the walls of my home that was once featured on MTV Cribs.
Right.
And we never saw anything. We just kept getting sicker and sicker. So I want to share this knowledge that I have with people. I feel, Brant, I didn't think as a child, I didn't dream of being the mold lady, but if I can share some of that knowledge with people and help them so that they don't have to go through what I went through, getting sick and almost dying. I mean, I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs and my life depended on it. I was on
Wow.
oxygen. I was that person you'd see in the grocery store on oxygen.
Now,
So
this is a person who's been in fitness their whole life.
yeah, I've been
Wow.
teaching group fitness classes since 1980, before most people here were born. And I want to be that grandma that's on the trampoline doing backflips. And so far I am, but it took a while to recover. And I want to share that with people. So I've got Killer House. They can go to killerhouse.org and check out the documentary I made about my story. And they can learn how to remediate and recover from toxic mold illness. My book coming out soon, hopefully. And I've got new programs all the time.
I'm always thrilled to keep up, and we want to keep up with you. Shemane, there's people watching right now. You think toxic mold? What? People would be shocked at what has been legalized to sell to consumers. They could be killing you. And what are some of those facts that people in your circles find the most shocking they didn't know about some of these chemicals and some of these products in their house that literally could be killing them?
Well, I'm not going to call you out, but I don't know if you use this,
Okay.
but uh chemically scented cleaners and fabric softeners in laundry detergent is probably the number one biggest no. Downy fabric softener, and
Whoa.
yeah, sorry if you use it, but get rid of it. Those scented candles, and especially I know I see you smiling. I'm sorry
No,
to
no,
be a
I'm thinking, okay, well, those are flammable. So, it's winter.
right.
I can use them as fire starter. Well, probably shouldn't use them as fire starters inside my house now, but
Look at the ingredients. If you're not sure, it's interesting. I walk down the cleaning aisle at the grocery stores, and number one, I can't barely breathe because it's so full of toxic chemical scents. And what that does is it might not hit you like a brick, over the head, but it
wow.
might be something that can cause headaches, things like fibromyalgia, joint pain,
Whoa.
insomnia, flu-like symptoms, and nobody wants that these days.
Right.
So look at the ingredients in your products in your home, in your cleaning, in the food. If you choose to eat things like boxed hamburger helper type of food, look at those ingredients in there. If it's in a box on a shelf for months or even years, is that good fuel for your body? I
Wow.
always encourage people to eat God food, not man food. So the closer you can get to the hoof, the ground, or the tree, the better. And the more processing you
Right.
use, heating and reheating and microwaving, the
Right.
less nutrients you actually get into your system.
A lot of people don't know that microwaving food isn't the healthiest thing for you, folks. I mean, it's convenient, but microwaving and what do you're nuking your food. But Shemane,
Yeah.
you and Ted, I mean, you guys eat really healthy. And of course, your Wildly Well program um, enables you to defy aging, obviously. But when you eat less processed food, you don't have as much swelling and much inflammation, folks.
Yes.
Sometimes,
Inflammation.
yeah. Sometimes
I
is it
want
true
to
that yeah?
I want to tell people I am not perfect, Brant. I love a good chocolate chip cookie like everybody else. And what I do is I eat 80% of what I eat is so clean. I don't use a lot of sauces and things. Sometimes on my salads, I just use olive oil, salt, and pepper. That's it. And I try to stay away from more sauces and
Right.
things like that, and flavor enhancers especially. But 20% of what I eat, yeah, I like cupcakes and cookies with the best of them.
But you also get exercise too.
I do.
And last I
I didn't
heard, you can still, you know, hit a deer at so many yards with your bow and arrow. Now, it was 75 or 175. What?
No, no, with my bow, I only have about a 30-pound bow, a 30-pound draw weight, which does not allow me to have a long range shot. So it's even more difficult for me to get within 20 yards of of an animal. But that again, too, is we know that there are animals, the sustenance that we eat.
Right.
Number one, we harvest it ourselves and we don't take that for granted,
Right.
and it's not fed up with chemicals and steroids.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's cleaner and healthier. And if you think about this, even organic chickens, they might just be raised in a little bit bigger cage. But what's good for human beings, exercise is good for the products that we eat as well. So if you're if you choose to eat meat and you have a cow that basically is born and died in the same spot, the more it gets exercise and fresh air and can run free and roam, the better it is for your health as well.
Wow. I never thought about that. So the better exercise your food gets, the
Yeah.
better it is for you. I'll never forget going to Egypt and eating vegetables that didn't have any chemicals in it, and eating
Mm.
chicken and lamb and beef that didn't have any hormones in it. I couldn't believe it, and all that to say. Now, I had so much fun interviewing Ted, and I honored him and his history and stuff. When I interview people, there's no gotcha moments. You notice that too, because again, the purpose of why we do what we do, Shemane, is to lift people up, to celebrate people, and to encourage them. Like Les Brown said, I said it again, and to ignite the greatness in people. And I know that's what your goal is too. Mind, body, heart, and soul. The people that you help and inspire and speak into their lives. There's so many things you're doing, Shemane, that you don't even realize you're doing. So many great messages you're giving, and you are an encouragement to people, not only to women, but you are a great encouragement to people too. Sometimes on your social media, I've seen these events that you've done in person with these people, and it looks like it's such a blast. Are you still doing those? What's the scoop on that?
I still teach Zumba fitness classes at the ripe old age of 60.
All
And,
right.
I always tell people, find the thing that makes your heart sing. For each of us, it's something different, but find the thing that makes your heart sing. Do it more often, you'll be happier and healthier. And for me, teaching, it's also a big break for me, because for that hour, I can't think about the problems of the world. I can't think about politics. I have to worry about Susie not bending her knees, or there's always something, the music or the lights or the heat or the temperature, whatever it is. And it's such a blessing, because I get a good workout while I'm doing it, but I have so much fun, and I'm such a goofball. I make all kinds of faces and I'm silly and I dance and I have fun.
Well, and you do, and you're comfortable in your skin, which, by the way, you're in better shape than a lot of 20-year-olds. And again, it goes to you live what you speak. We've said it before. There's people who love things and use people, but then there's people who love people and use things. And I know you and Ted love people, and people love you for it. And so it's just so great to catch up with you. I can't wait for your new book to come out. If you go to Amazon.com and type in Shemane Nugent, you'll see her books. But I want you to do better with your book sales in terms of your commissions, because as we know, Amazon, a great platform. But if you're an author, you don't do it for the money on Amazon. You do it for the exposure. Uh, People can go to ShemaneNugent.rocks.
Yep.
ShemaneNugent.rocks. And for those who are watching this on broadcast, it's on the bottom of your screen, and get behind this incredible lady. There's a saying, find out what God is doing and get behind it, right?
Mhm.
Well, find out, what all Shemane is doing and of course, you know what? A lot of people don't even know this. You're a producer, you're a filmmaker. You actually done movie stuff and documentaries, and can people access that too from the Shemane Nugent .rocks?
Yes. So I have a link to the Killer House documentary that I did it. And
Right.
if you want to go straight to it, it's killerhouse.org. I also co-produce with Ted. We have a outdoor television show that's going to be starting in January. We've been on the Outdoor Channel for 25 years, and now
Wow.
we're moving to Pursuit Channel in January. And I co-produce that and co-host that with Ted. And my book, by the way, I wanted to mention this. My latest book that is available on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, called 4 Minutes to Happy, was released on March 20th of 2020. And I did no promotion for it because I thought that was when, the pandemic hit. Who's going to want to learn how to be happy when we're locked down? And so,
Right.
yeah, that kind of took a dive quickly, but I appreciate you mentioning my books. I love to write. I've got 2, maybe 3 more books in me that I'm working on this year. Still, I'm going to write a book called Wildly Well. And then Ted and I are going to be doing another Kill It and Grill It Wild Game Cookbook. And then, Brant, I'm writing a novel.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A nonfiction novel or a fiction novel?
Fiction. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Any hints about what that's about?
I got really inspired because my new favorite author is Charles Martin. And on my podcast this past Tuesday, I interviewed him, and I'm working with somebody, an editor, who's helping me edit my books. And I mentioned to her that I wanted to write a novel after I get done with the Killer House book and I get done with the Wildly Well book and the cookbook. And I said, by the way, I want to write a novel. And she said, would you like to write like Charles Martin, that type of scenario? And I hadn't heard of him. He's my new favorite author. I interview him on my podcast. It's very uniquely titled, called The Shemane Show. You can find it on iTunes or Podbean. And he writes thrilling fiction, but it's also about human trafficking.
Oh, wow.
And so I have been interested in that. I didn't realize the depth of depravity and corruption that this world is in. And that's one of the reasons that I've been speaking out. If we do nothing, Brant, and we know that something like this is going on, are we complicit? So I want to write those types of things. And they say that write what you know. Well, I know the music industry pretty well. So there's going to be a little bit of that in there as well.
Wow. Another great interview with Shemane Nugent. Go to ShemaneNugent.rocks today and get behind Shemane Nugent. Thanks again, Shemane.
Amen. And thank you for having me, Brant.
If you want to have a fearless life, free of anxiety, to live in joy and success and fulfillment, walking out your destiny and living out your purpose, get it in your hands October 31st on Amazon.com.